I'm getting all my dream log ready today.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited too. My computer was behaving a little bit weird today, very slow. Took a lot of time to start up, and I don't know what's wrong.
Okay, the technology, everything will smooth out. So I know that you had years of scientific background and research and even books studies on the subject of dream interpretation. Would you like to shining some of the light on this topic?
Yes, sure. Since I was, in my teenage time, I was so interested in dream interpretation. But I didn't have that knowledge at that time. So when I become older and I started my education in medicine and health science and biomedical engineering and all of this, different type of education. So I got the knowledge and read more about dream interpretation from different perspectives and different point of view from other scientists, other philosopher, other ancient teachers, and also getting more knowledge through the holy books and the Bible and the Quran and Torah, those stories that has been emphasizing the important and the beauty of the dream interpretation. So I had a kind of really comprehensive knowledge gathered from different sources. And then when I started my health science and biomedical engineering education, I decided to dig in and see, can I make a kind of program, a system that can register the activity in a person who is sleeping and collect all the information and find if there any kind of way I can pull out those information about the dream the person was dreaming, and study that mostly both from philosophic point of view, but also scientific, quantitative point of view, to see if I can present those information, and I did. So that ended with almost 1,000 pages of dissertation, where I wrote about the program I developed, and how I did collect that information from hundreds and hundreds of patients, where I collected information through electroencephalography, EEG, we call it in medicine. So that electroencephalography is a technique you can collect information from the scalp about the brain activity to see where in the brain the different activities going on, And in many cases, you can also relate that to the patient's dream, or if they are sleeping, but also if they are awake, you can collect information about what they're thinking, what they feel. And it's very fascinating technology. So yeah, that was a technical part, the much more technical and scientific part of the dream and dream interpretation I was doing as a in that was my second dissertation, in my education life, a lifetime. But the interpretation of dream, it goes with understanding the symbols in the dream's picture, in the dream's scenario, and putting those symbols together like a puzzle, and to make a whole, complete meaning of the dream. Because in the dream, different things that we know from when we are awake, in the dream it has different meaning. And therefore it's important to understand the symbols in the dream, not in the awake time, but in the dream, and put them together and like a puzzle, and they complete the puzzle, and then look at the whole picture and see what is the dream is about. So generally, the dreams divided in three type of dreams, or we can say three categories. So one category of a dream is just reflection of everyday's activity we have. When we sleep, the brain still has its own activity, building up assumption and making scenario, trying to look at different hypotheses, finding some solution. While we are dreaming, the brain is working, right? Still working and working hard. And that's the way that the brain keep itself, healthy. That's why the sleep is very important for us, because when we sleep, the brain do its activity without any interpretation, without any interruption. Because during the day we are working, we're interacting with our environment, and the brain doesn't work deeply on spiritual, emotional, and all of this stuff that we need to work on. So the best way, when we sleep, the brain had to have the time to replenish and work on those process that is necessary for us to keep alive. So that's one category of the dream that is just a reflection of everyday's activity we do, and in many occasions it has no message. It's just a reflection. The second type of a dream, or second category of the dream, is those dreams where we have when we are in a deep phase of our sleep. And those dreams that we have on our deep phase of dream, that goes mostly deep in our emotional, spiritual level, and give us some messages. And that is the one that is important for us to make really to pay attention to, and also make sure that we remember it when we wake up and write it down immediately, because that is the most important part, that gives you give you a message that help you with looking to things differently and more wisely and more open-minded. So that's the second type of the category, the second category of dream. The third category of dream, it's just very interrupted because it goes between different level, different cycle of the dream, because we have the four phase of the dream we go through. And go ahead.
Oh,
you have
yeah.
a question?
Yeah, I actually pull out the chart for different brain waves, the four kind of brain waves that you talk about. Is it okay I share that?
Yeah,
So,
you can share it on the side so we can talk about those two also.
yeah, I think that way that would help people the audience to see the different brain waves that you're talking about. Can you see it? Can you guys see it?
Let's see. If you share it on your site, probably we can see it.
Yeah, let me try one more time. Because this is very important related to the subjects that you're talking about, and also related to our brain waves. Why, like, there are some people, they can tap into multiple frequency band, like frequency is like dimension. Yeah, so this is kind of like helping us to unlocking the ultimate potential of our brains through the dream world. So right now, like earlier when Dr. Yusuf talk about awaken the mental activity, that's when our conscious mind, that's the beta wave. And then when we are resting before sleep, that's the alpha wave, 8 to 13 hertz. And then when we are sleeping, that's a theta wave between 4 and 7. And then the deep sleep, that's the delta wave. And most people, that when we are awake, we are only tapping into one frequency band. But there are some people through years of meditation able to have both frequency band, or some master can have 3 frequency band, all happening at the same time, both sleeping and awakened time. Does that make sense, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Can you see the picture that I put on the screen?
Yeah, I see the picture from Google that shows the different wave structure, how it looks like. And so we can see in the top one.
Oh, let me pull it back, that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See if we can find one that much more make it a little bit bigger.
We'll make it bigger. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm able to. How about this one? Did that help?
Which one?
This one on the right side of the screen.
Yeah, let's tap on that. Let me tap on that. Tap on that and make it bigger. You know, tap on it, and it goes to a page or home page or somewhere that has much more a bigger picture.
Somehow, oh, okay, it's way too big. Give me 1 second. Let me try to solve it.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, so we can see that, you know, the one that on the top is the one that mostly we have in the background of our head or our brain activity. So that's depend on the brain activity itself, you know, to keep ourselves maintain the maintenance of the brain, and also interactive actions and communication network between different parts of the brain. Yeah, Daisy, can you do that? So, and the most lower one, the number 5, That's when when we are in deep sleep, and you see the wave frequency is low, um, and at that time, that's the mostly when you dream at that phase, that's the one that have message for you, that goes deep in your spiritual and soul, and communicate with higher order in the universe and bring more information and messages for you. But to understand those messages, to understand the symbols in the dream, because the symbols in the dream, again, it's completely different from the symbols we know in when we are awake. For example, milk. When we are awake, we know milk. Milk is, milk is like nutritious, and we drink it. There's a lot of vitamins and minerals and things in it, and has something to do with life and with nutrition and with health. But in dream, that has another meaning. So in the dream, it means knowledge. So you see, it's completely different meaning between the symbol in when we are alive of what we know, and when we are dreaming in our dream. So this is why people who want to do interpretation of dream, they need to know those symbols that are related to the dream, not symbols that you know when you are alive and connect them and say, make stories, and it doesn't work like that. But this is why it's important to understand those symbols. Go ahead, Daisy. Do you have a question?
Oh, I just want to greet our audience, Venus, Catherine, and Grace. Yeah, and welcome.
Hey, hi, Joseph.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm happy to see you guys here. So we're talking about the dream, and then different category of dream, and then so because you came a little bit delayed, so I will maybe reiterate that so everybody are on the same page when we start talking a dream. So I started to say that dreams have three categories. One category of dreams are those who are only a reflection of our everyday's activity. So whatever we do in a day that can reflect on us, and we can release those either stress or understanding of what happened or whatever. It's just reflection. It has no message. And so that's one category of dream. The second category of dream are those when we have when we are in a deep phase of sleep. Those are the one that we have to remember when we wake up and write down immediately. And those are the one that gives you messages in that can happen in future, or messages that already happened, but you didn't understood that in your life. So it can also be related to not only for future, but also in from the past. And the third and the last category of the dream is just a lot of noise that related on what we eat before we sleep, how much we have been interrupted before we sleep, using all this electronic stuff before you sleep until the last second. That bring up that category up. and also, you know, sleeping while the light is on, temperature of the room. So it is so much related to environment. And again, it doesn't have any message, but it's just adjustment of our body to the environment. It comes in form of different pictures, different scenarios, but it doesn't have any message. So the only one that we have to make sure that remember and write down, and when we are in a deep dream, deep sleep, and we wake up, immediately we have to write it up, write it down, and then the symbol, as I mentioned before, we need to look at all the symbols in the scenario. So anything you see in the scenario of the dream, any symbols, any object, any person, any name, any whatever, you should write them down, because each of them has meaning to the complete puzzle of the interpretation. So this is how the dream and dream interpretation is it works. Yeah. There are different philosophy about dream, you know. There are philosophers from many thousand years ago that have been talking about dream. They have different meaning. So you can study them in your own, Google them and see, because some of them it doesn't make sense, some of them make sense. So it's related to yourself to see which one is you think it makes sense for you, and it works for you and it makes sense for you. But in reality, the dream symbol, it has, and the dream that, you know, the deep dream phase where we talk about, that's the one we have to look at it, that gives us a picture, a symbol, a picture of a whole dream. And if we understand that, then we get the message. As I said, either message for future, from the future, or message of something happened in past and we didn't understood. So that was a little bit just introduction about how I look at the dream and interpret the dream. Any question?
Not really question, but just an affirmation. I realize how important the dream play in my life. Almost like I have my own wise counsel who's continuously guiding me what phase of my life, what's gonna be happening. So I think ever since my spiritual awakening back in 2007, I'm strictly guided by my dream every step of the time. And sometimes there's some significant dream can be guiding me for the next 3 years that's coming. And I know a lot of scientists and philosophers, they all like follow their dream. Like basically, like for instance, the chemical periodic table that invented by the Russian chemist Dmitry Mendeleev. I forgot the name. And that's how he come up that invention. It's through his dream. And the thing with one of the famous psychologists, Carl Jung, he said he never wrote any book that's not guided by his dream. So basically all his book, the topic and how he gonna be delivered, the philosophy is all straightly guided by his dream. And also our, and all the starseed children and our deep knowledge about Atlantean, Lemurian, the knowledge is from the sleeping prophet, what's the name? Edgar Cayce. And he got all his guidance from his dream too. That's why people call him the sleeping prophet. He got his guidance about many like a prophecy, both from the, let's talk about 300,000 years ago, what happened before, and it's all from his dream too. So that's why, it's so fascinating.
Yeah, I agree, and agree a lot with Carl Jung and the way he, as a philosopher, looked at the dream as dream that, you know, give you messages and give you guidance, and in a good way, not just, you know, focus on one aspect like the other philosopher, you know. So we don't want to talk about that because that's very, very fixated to in specific things, you know, and it doesn't make sense for me at all. Yeah.
And I know you have both your scientific brain and your psychic brain, your intuitive brain, incredible. I had firsthand experience when Dr. Yusuf do dream interpretation for me, and he can tap into my dream, almost like watching a real-time TV show, the movie. He's watching me having my dream in my dream realm, whatever dimension that is, 360-degree angle, which means that my dream from my own perspective, he sees that, and at the same time he see me as an entity in that space. I remember there's some dream that happened in another dimension. I was a panda, but I was not aware I was a panda in that dimension. And Yusuf, he can see it. He said, "Oh, you're a panda in that dimension." I thought that's quite remarkable. So I invite some of our friends here today, and if anyone wanna ask a dream interpretation, feel free. Yeah, the space is open.
Yes, I have a lot of dreams about snakes. What is that? Like
Snake?
chased by snakes. I never get bitten. It's always chasing me or following me or being of its presence. And yeah, like just interacting with snakes. Huge ones, like I could fit into its mouth and stuff, but it wouldn't attack me or anything. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So Grace, the way it works, you need to remember the dream and tell me all the pieces in the dream, either name or pictures or on that specific dream, you know. So this is because dreaming on snake in general has, depending on the scenario in the dream. In some scenario, the snakes symbolize wisdom, and in another scenario, it symbolizes enemy and danger. So you see the difference, but they are all depending on the scenario, how you see the snake, how to interact with the snake in a specific scenario of the dream. And then we talk about that and try to interpret that. So can you remember any of those? Just very specific, not combining dream from different night or different, just one.
Yes.
One specific.
There's this occurring dream that always happens like every year or something. Like I'm in the mountains and this huge brown snake like chasing me, like following me, and like it wouldn't attack me or anything, but it would just follow me from behind, and I'd be so scared. And then he or she, I think it's he, I feel it's a male snake. It would lead me to another pile of like other snakes, but smaller snakes, like regular snakes, but they were different kinds of snakes. They were all in a circle around me. Yeah, but they wouldn't do anything. They would just mind their business, like trying to interact with me, but as if they want to talk to me. It happens like every like year, or every few years, or every few months. It's like reoccurring. I was wondering what that means.
So can you tell me a little bit about the big snake that you said? It's what is the color? Any other thing you remember from that snake? You said is a male or female?
I think it's a male, but it's brown. It doesn't have like the cobra thing. It's like a regular garden snake, something like that. but it's all brown, like, and like its mouth is so big, like it could swallow me. Yeah.
Okay. And then that big one was just following you and did nothing. Did he communicate with you, talk, say anything?
No, it's just quiet.
And then how he guided you to the group, the other group of the snake?
I just would run into the group of snakes, like there'll be no intention, or it would like not tell me where to go, but I just end up like in the sand area, like kind of like a side of a road in the mountains, somewhere maybe tropical, and like it would be like a group of snakes surrounding me in a circle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in this scenario, the snake is not enemy, to you. Just trying to give you confidence and say, we are here, and don't be afraid, because the life around you is a lot of angst and frightening things happening in your environment, and that can be really scary. But in that scenario, they will tell you, don't be afraid. Those in around you in your environment will not harm you, even though it looks like dangerous. So that's the message. That's the message. So how did you feel in a dream? Were you afraid, or you were just observing?
I was afraid because I would run and run and run, but it would just follow me. And then like later on, like when I reached a group of snakes, I'm just observing. I'm like, why aren't they attacking me? Why aren't they biting me? As if they want to be friends with me or something.
Yeah. Yeah, as I mentioned before, it's depending on the scenario of the dream. The snake can have different interpretation. So in this scenario, they are just telling you, in the environment around you, there are a lot of danger that you are scared of and you are running from, but don't be afraid. Those danger around you will not affect you, will not harm you. Just don't be afraid. So that's the message. This is why they also continue coming to your dream again and again, because you have had that feeling in a real life, when you are awake. You have had that feeling that always afraid of something bad happen, and you're concerned. And this is why those dreams come back again and again, to assure you, don't be afraid, and just be calm, and try to communicate with your environment, but don't be afraid. Nothing will happen to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Grace, I have a follow-up question. I know that you had a lot of dreams about dragons. Yeah, do you feel like there's some similarity, or the energy-wise?
Oh my gosh, yes. Like I felt like they're very similar, except the snake is more friendly, but the dragon is more bold. Like more like telling me wisdom, telling me what to do, how to live my life, controlling. Like whenever I dream of dragons, it's like they're giving me a message from God or something, telling me like something's about to happen, or don't be afraid, like that. But with the snakes, it's like, oh, hi, I'm here. I'm friendly. I'm here to be of your assistance.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you know, about the dragon, again, it's very depending on the scenario of the dream. So they can be, you can see a dream about um, uh, dragon in different night, but a different scenario could be completely different meaning, different interpretation. So again, if you ask about a specific dream with dragon, you have to tell me about one specific scenario on that one specific, you know, scenario at that dream, a specific, not combined with dream from other night or something like that. Just specific one night. Because it changed it depending on, you know, the what's happening and what is in the dream, you know.
Grace, would you like to share some of your dragon dream too? It's also beautiful. I remember.
Yeah, I usually have most of them with the white dragon or water dragon. And then there was one when it was like the fiery elements, like at like a place I used to live. But most of the occurring ones are like at a temple or at some church. Like I always have church dreams and dragons always appear there. Big dragons, white ones, water dragons, fire dragons, all kinds of dragons just weaving in the air. And they're trying to like whisper and tell me messages in my ear.
Yeah. Grace, remember, just tell me one movie from one dream.
Okay.
Don't tell me mixed from a different dream, because I tell you, it's different. Either even the movement, even this, it will be different interpretation. Just tell me, okay, I saw one dream and the dragon looked like this, and it was that thing specifically happened on that night in the dream, and that's it. And then I will tell you.
Yeah, okay. I was in my old apartment like years ago when I was like living with my mom. Um, and no one was there. And I saw this white dragon by the window of the kitchen. It was just still like as if it was like resting. And then I got scared. So then I went to the bathroom and then I saw a yellow, red, and orange dragons, like short ones, maybe like the size of regular snakes. But the white dragon was so massive. And like they were like the orange, yellow, and red one was like floating in the air going towards the white one. And I was scared, but then I felt like brave, like very bold, like don't be afraid. And I was like, how did they fit into this apartment? Like, yeah, I shared this dream with Daisy, and like it was just so impressive. Like they weren't interacting; they were just like slithering in the air, like intertwining. They weren't communicating with me; they were just acknowledging me. Yeah.
Anything else happen in the dream?
I felt a lot of fear. Like before I saw all that, I was coming from outside in I was opening the door and I was scared. I was very scared. But no one was there. I felt like I was the only one living there, but I wasn't my small self as a child. I was like how I am now. But it was like the old environment, like where I used to live, as if I lived there by myself. And it was like I think it was nighttime because it was like dark outside and I was opening up the door, and but there was light, like the lights were on and everything, and like they came like as if they were greeting me. Yeah.
So, so that specific dream, you know, it tells you that you had one of your past lives, you have been a dragon, and they are your friend. They're just coming back to greeting you. And, you know, I'd say, don't be afraid. Don't feel alone. Don't feel lonely. You're not alone. We are there, and they just acknowledge you. But they are your friend because they know you from your previous life, one of your previous life, and you have been a dragon.
I felt like I was a water dragon in my past life because like a blue one, like a sky blue one. Because I always have dreams of me riding on like this water dragon that comes up from the sky, kind of like in that movie Raya, like the Raya, the dragon. Yeah, like that. I was riding like the water dragon, and like I'd always be like by the sun in the clouds, happy.
Yeah, just be careful because I say the same thing to Daisy and say, you watch a lot of Walt Disney cartoon, and therefore you just be aware that you don't mix things, you know, with what you see. Because I remember I said one category of the dream is a reflection of the day. If we have been watching a cartoon movie, you know, every night, every night before we sleep. Of course, we will see a lot of those characters that comes in our life in a you know Walt Disney way. So these are reflection. That's fine. That's fine. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. We just have to be aware of that those. Yeah. I will tell you something. Even dreaming different type of dream is very much depending on what you eat at night and when you eat your dinner. If you eat too late before you sleep, if you eat something very difficult to digest or take time to digest, um, that will affect your dream. It bring you in dreams that it looks like a nightmare, you know. I don't know. So if you have experienced that, but many people say, oh, I see something like a nightmare. I'm just running and going nowhere. And somebody follow me. And then when I ask them, what did you eat the night before? And they eat a lot of a big chunk of, dinner, and it was too late. So, and that will bring you like a kind of dream that it reflect and project like a nightmare, but it is just the body trying to get rid of those pressure, that is under it during the sleep. Because remember, when we sleep, it is the time the body has do the most replenishing of its of our cells and our all the organs and all the chemistry that happen in our body, and even our psychological aspect of our being. It gets released some of those pressure and some of those conflict that we have during the dream, that can be in different type, coming out and releasing those pressure and those things from us. Yeah.
I have a question. What if like what does it mean when you wake up with a headache?
That means different things again, depending on if you have a medical issue, that we can diagnose it. If not, so normally what I will do is I will do some lab work, take a lab, blood draw and do some send for lab work and test some of those biomarker that could be a reason for headache, different type of headache. I will ask you a question about your even your bed, how your mattress quality is, how your honestly, how your pillows quality is, because all of these can have effect in if you get headache or not. For example, if you have a pillow which is too low, or you don't have really support to your neck for your neck and head, and then you sleep, that could be one reason you wake up more next day and you have headache, because that we call tension headache. So the tension that is built up because of that pressure under your neck and then under your head, that can cause pressure to nerves and muscles and nerves and cause headache. So that we call tension headache. That tension headache can be physically, but also can be emotionally. Some people also have emotional pressure during the stress during their life, which has been chronic, that can also end in tension headache. So that one time. But normally I will ask those questions to find out what could be, the root of the headache. I will do a lab draw and send them to the lab and check different biomarker to see if any sign that shows indication that could be related to a kind of medical issue. If nothing or none of them, then I will look at the psychological aspect. It could be, stress, could be emotional stress, it could be emotional, pressure that is happening during your life, which has been chronic. Normally, when those things going on chronically for a long time, it will end with this kind of sign and symptoms, like headache, heaviness in head. When you wake up, you feel your head is really heavy, and you feel you're not completely satisfied by the sleeping. You feel still tired, exhausted. So all of those things can have a root, a reason. So I will ask different questions to find out what could be the root. So which one of those that I just mentioned, you can see that it resonates with your situation? That
Usually it's when I sleep with my hair wet, and I get more vivid dreams, like dreams that I feel like I can't control, but I can in a way. Like I know what I'm doing in the dream, but it feels like the energy is so extreme that I can't control it. And so when I wake up, I have a headache. And like the old wives' tale in the Philippines, they say if you sleep with your hair wet, you go crazy.
yeah, that's the saying, but there is a reason that they say it, and that is only in one condition. So if you sleep with a wet hair and there is a drift of air, either from the window or air condition, or somehow that goes in the room, goes around in the room, that of course will affect your that will be one reason for headache, because that will cause a tension in your head, and that will cause headache. So that's one reason. Yeah, that's only in one condition. But if you sleep like with wet head, but you cover your hair before you cover hair and you sleep, so your hair is in under a cover. There's no air. There's nothing that goes in. The probability that you'll get headache is almost zero. You're muted.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
like
if you
say like if you sleep with your hair wet, you can get sick because of the draft of the wind, I guess.
yes, yes, because we don't see the draft, we don't know where it comes from. Because from maybe a window, from the under a door or whatever that is coming in the drift, and that can affect it. But if you sleep, if you have wet hair but you cover it, you put something on, cover it and sleep, that will not affect you.
Oh, good
Yeah,
to know.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So the reason you get a headache that you said they say in Philippine, it's because they didn't know what the reason is, but this is the reason. Because when the drift comes in and your hair already wet, it causes a kind of change in temperature. Exchange in the temperature, and that will cause pressure on your skull. And pressure on your skull, it will put pressure on the under skull, which are some very thin cover around our brain and our spinal cord. So those have some specific fluid in it, cerebral craniocerebral fluid. That is the one that goes around that keep our brain, our spinal cord safe and bring nutrition to the central nervous system and keep the pressure around our brain and spinal cord normalized in a homeostasis way, state. But if we put so much pressure from outside, either trauma or like this in this condition that you mentioned, like hair wet and drift going on, so that pressure, it will affect those very thin layer, and then will change the pressure around our brain and our spinal cord, and that will cause headache. Yeah, that will cause headache for sure.
Yeah, I feel like whenever that happens, when I get those vivid dreams, I dream of more ascended like dreams, like godly dreams. Yeah.
That could be just a reflection, just a reflection. It has nothing to do with your hair,
Oh.
because if God will communicate with you, he doesn't care if you wash your hair and sleep or not.
I just want to add something, Grace. Like
Yeah,
before you sleep,
go.
use a towel. Make sure your hair doesn't touch your neck, because when it gets to your neck, it kind of, you don't want to get a cold. So wrap it. Make your hair like, don't let it touch your neck or your shoulders, because then you'll get like the shivers. So make sure you wrap it from the crown, from the back to like your crown. Don't let it touch your, because when I leave my hair wet, sometimes I feel like a little bit of sickness, but when I have the towel, it really just keeps all like the moisture on your head until you could dry it out easily. Just make sure you have it out, but not have the hair on your neck or your back. Just keep it out so it's aired, right, Dr.
Yeah.
Yosef? Yeah.
Yes, that's a good way. You can do it, to release those, or reduce or prevent those pressure on your neck or skull. Sometimes if it's too much, if your hair is too long, it can also affect your shoulder, here.
Yeah.
You
will
next
feel
day
it.
you can feel like it's tension. It's like whole, it's tight, something like that. So this is why it happened.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Anybody else they want to
I have some comments.
go ahead?
Always.
Yeah.
So like I have my own way of understanding because of my Chinese medicine background and my culture. So my understanding, kind of like there are two parts of the soul. One type of a soul we call it a corporeal soul, which is the soul kind of like more like a physical handling of our physical body, like when we're sleeping, that corporeal soul will start working. Actually, the two parts of the soul both started working. The corporeal soul, which related to the body function, there are 7 parts, like the sexual aspect and physical aspect. Like for instance, after we sleep, we feel like recover from certain condition. That's that function start like put like our own inner doctor, which is our own body, kind of like start working. That physical doctor start working and rejuvenating our body. So that's the physical doctor start working, and then the ethereal soul, which is our heavenly soul body, will start go back to its own source, which is like it could be from another higher dimension, start working, and sometimes you can like feel like you're jumping in different, or like Grace talking about some kind of like godly voice or deity coming in. Yeah, that's the ethereal soul coming in, handing us a wisdom, and that's why we can have a prophetic dream, because in the God realm there is no difference of time and space. You can see everything that as is already happened. That's why a lot of time like oh, we saw that we are predicting something. It's not. It's just we are seeing from the other eye, the godly.
Yes, I get a lot of deja vu when that happens. Like I remember like things would happen later on down the road, like in real life. I'm like, oh, I had a dream about that. And it was during that time when all those shenanigans are happening. Like it'll be like deja vu as if I've seen it in my dream.
Yeah, yeah. So the way that Daisy was explaining is exactly what I said in the beginning, because so they call it in Chinese the corporic and spiritual soul. So that's the body that rejuvenate when we sleep. That's the body that heals itself. So that's the healing coming from in, everything going. And the dream what we see in our deep stage of sleep is the one that gives us message. But my point was, this has nothing to do with your with your wet hair. This has to do with your which stage of sleep you were in. If you were in a deep stage of sleep and you get this kind of downloading or communication or messages, that is the one that is you have to pay attention to. That is that tells you that this is what happened or this is what's going to happen. So yeah, but that has nothing to do with your hair that is wet or not, or that just very depending on which stage of the sleep you are in. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's the same thing that Daisy was explaining, you know, that the corporeal
and the ethereal soul.
And the ethereal soul. So we have only one soul, of course. There's no, they call it soul, but the corporeal, because it has to do with corpus. Corpus in Greek, it means body. So that when they so corporeal, that means related to the corpus. Corpus, it means body. When they say corporeal, it means that is related to the body. This is why the body tries to replenish itself, heal itself while we're sleeping. And the ethereal soul, that is the one that related to our soul. That is ethereal because ether is coming from air, coming from something that cannot stay in one place, like our soul. It can be millions places in the same time, because we we have solely, we have different frequency, and we have different type of life. We can be different places. We can, so this is why they call them ethereal, because ether, it comes from air. So this is the meaning, you know. But this is not body. These are two different things. We have a body, there's a crop, there's a corporeal, and we have a soul, ethereal soul. Yeah. And that the ethereal soul is the one that engage us with the higher order, you know, in the universe. That's the one that goes different places where we're sleeping, and we get different messages, we get different communications, because that's the one that can communicate with higher order.
Like the kind of dreams sometimes I would get would be of the deceased.
Yeah, and then again, the reason is because we see things normally in the dream. We sometimes sort of think that we already has been experiencing in our, when we are alive, either through a movie or through a you know, books reading about, or picture, or knowledge we have learned about that during our life. The symbols that normally comes in our dream is something that for us familiar most of the time, almost 80–90%. In very, very, very seldom situation, we see something that we don't know what it is. We never had experience before. But in 90%, 85–90%, what we see in a dream as a symbol is very close and similar what we experience when we are alive. You
yeah,
see?
because I had
but the meaning is different, because the meaning, because the universal communication with us, if they want to communicate with us, they have to communicate with us in a language, in a symbol that we understand. Otherwise, we don't understand it. Therefore, we see things in different. We see the scenario. This is why I'm asking about the scenario, what is going on in that specific dream. And by the way, the dream it takes only few seconds. You think it takes maybe an hour when you're dreaming, but in reality, it's just few seconds. So when I made measurement, you know, and when I was doing my medical things, you know, as research and dream. So when you do measurement, you see those activity, it is just in few seconds. But in reality, for us, it looks like it's half an hour, 2 hours sometimes, you know, but it's not. But this is how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had experience one time when I dreamt of a friend's family member who was deceased. They were going through their phone. I had a dream the night before because I was going to work. It was my old employer's brother, and she was looking at some family photos. I said, "Who's that?" Because I saw him in my dream the night before. She said, "Oh, he passed away like so and so years ago." I was like, I saw him in my dream. My face is like a ghost, like white. He talked to me in my dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can happen. Sometimes, you know, it's a soul that want to communicate with somebody, but they cannot communicate directly to that person. They found somebody that is friend of that person that have the ability to communicate. Like you, for example, she was your boss or previous boss, so you could communicate with her and give her the message. I saw him. I saw him in my dream, and he was okay, or he was scared, or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's like I give you one example. There was a person, a businessman that was people know him in their area, in their uh, quarter, in the place where they're living, that he was a good person, he was trustworthy, and he was, you know, uh, with good morals, and you know, so every time they want to leave, because in very old day they didn't have banks, so they normally give their money, their if they have gold or whatever, before they travel any places, they give them to a person they trust and say, can you keep this for me while I am away? And then when they come back, then they get those uh, found from the person. And he was a good person, if they know him. So one of those neighbor wanted to go for pilgrims and give him whatever he had, gold and money and everything, and say, keep this, I'm going to be 3 months away, and can you please take those for me? And he did. He said, yes, I will. And then while the person was away for pilgrims, the person, the businessman, he died, and it was just coming very sudden. He didn't have time to give the money or inform his son or his brother or whatever, to tell them what this money is. I'm going to die. He didn't know that, so he died. So the person came back, the other person who gave him the money and gold. He came back and said, I want my money and they said, oh, he died. And nobody knew where the money was kept, or the gold was kept. Nobody knew, because he was a trustworthy person and he didn't want to inform anybody else, because there was a risk. Somebody can, a thief or somebody that can get hand on those money on or golds. So nobody knew that. So one day, the father, the businessman who died, he came in his son's dream. He came in his son's dream and told him exactly where the money was, where the gold and money he was keeping them. And he told him, tell the neighbor, the money and the gold, all is safe. Nobody took them. I kept them a safe place, but I didn't have time to inform anybody. And so he told his son in the dream, exactly, this is the place I put the money in. And then when the son woke up, he went exactly to the place where the father told him in the dream. He went there and he found the money and the gold and everything, and then gave them to the neighbor and said, this is what happened. My father came in my dream and he told me where it was, and I found them, and this is your money and this is your gold and everything. And everything was not touched at all, everything. So you see that kind of things that can happen. And that kind of messages we can receive while we're dreaming. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, if he didn't have a possibility to come to his son's dream, nobody knew what the money and the gold was, and the neighbor could not get his money back. But yeah, that kind of thing happened. And because the soul, you know, those soul, the businessman soul, the one that was trustworthy, he was a really good man. He has a really good, beautiful soul. So that he had the possibility to come back in his, in a form of, you know, a dream, in a dream of his son, and had the possibility and permission to come in and tell his son, please go there and find those money and that I kept and give it to the neighbor, because I don't want him to think his money is gone and I was not trustworthy anymore. So that was very important for him. So that that can happen. Yeah.
Wow. I have to um stay in tune with my dreams now, of like the deceased or prophetic dreams. Like I get a lot of those. Yeah.
Just remember when you wake up, write them down, and then don't make interpretation. When you write down, don't write your interpretation. Just write exactly like when you observe a movie or see, oh, I saw the movie, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened, this was there, this was there, this was there. Just write everything. Yeah, because some people, they know when they write their dream, sometimes they write the interpretation, but not necessarily that's correct.
Right.
So, but write whatever you see and then look at it. If you can interpret after you write everything down and look at the whole picture, if you can do that, that's fine. If not, when you tell somebody else to do interpretation, then you need to tell the person the whole picture. What was that? What was there? Even a simple thing in the picture that has a meaning, that has a so the person that make interpretation has to know all of these things, put them together, and make interpretation from the whole picture. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah. The dream is it's an amazing thing, you know. We should be really we should thanks the creator, you know, that gives us that ability that we can communicate. Otherwise, there's no way you can communicate. Yeah. There is yeah, it's very, very good. Very good gift. Yeah. Daisy, do you have anything you want to share?
Yes, always have something to share.
That's good.
So that's another proof that there's a place of the eternal soul. That's
Yeah.
when the physical body released out of the 3D world, we can still communicate with each other.
Yes, exactly. So in some of those holy books, you know, the religious books, is mentioned that it says when we sleep, it's like we die. The soul leave the body. It's like we die. When we die, the soul leave the body. But when we die, the soul leave the body and never come back, because that's bye-bye. I'm going good place. I have enough here on this planet. Now I'm going beautiful place. But when we sleep, the soul goes, you know, leave the body, you know, and not always. Of course, you have to remember that, not always. Depending on, again, what we eat or not, or we are disturbed or not, the environment we sleep in, all of this is important for the because the soul want to make sure that we are safe when it leaves the body. Otherwise, we die, and then the soul cannot come back. So the communication between the soul, our soul and our body will be intact when the soul leave and then come back. But that's only on in our dream. Yeah. But it's the same, exactly the same like when we die, you know. The soul leave the body. The only difference is when we die, the soul doesn't come back to the body. But when we are dreaming, sleeping, the soul leave the body, and then when we are about to wake up, it comes back again, and we say, "Oh my God, I came back again to this. Oh my God, to this so small and so little place, the body, you know." When the soul release, it has so many space. It goes everywhere, and you know, when it comes back again, so, oh my God, I'm back again in this body. Yeah. So this is why it's important that we have to be aware before we sleep. We take care of ourselves. We don't eat too late. We don't get distracted of electronic stuff before we sleep, because all of this can have interrupt our dream. And sometimes those interruption gives us some kind of illusion, and then we think, oh, that was a dream or that was godly message, but it is not. It's just interruption of the electronic devices. And this has been, when I'm saying that, it's not only I'm guessing. It has been researched. So if you look at the document in the research database, you can find many articles that says those things should be avoided before sleeping. Otherwise, it will interrupt our quality of sleep. And when we have a really good quality of sleep, we will go in a deep stage of sleep. We see dream, and we get our messages there, the real messages. If we don't go too deep on that stage, whatever we get in between, it is just a reflection. It's not a real message. Yeah. This is why they say avoid those things before you sleep, so you have good quality of sleep. Yeah. And we say that also to our patient when they come in and we find out that they don't have really a good sleep, good quality of sleep. We tell them. We tell our patient, you say that this is things you have to avoid. You have to, the temperature when you sleep in the room should not be too hot, you know, and it should not be too cold. And before you sleep, you know, you should have at least an hour before you sleep, so you don't eat anything. If you want to drink water, that's fine, but you don't eat anything, because those digestion, what happened, this, you know, from medical point of view, if you eat very close to time when you want to sleep, so this is what happened. When you eat, the food goes to your GI system, and then all the blood from your brain and heart and everywhere, it goes mostly there to take care of the digestion. And then the brain gets deprived from oxygen. The heart gets hard work to do to keep everything up, oxygenated in the body. So this is why the body gets under so much stress while we're dreaming, you know, and we're supposed to be, when we dream, the body it has a very low load, so it can replenish and heal itself, both physically and psychologically. So this is why, so at least we need at least, you know, to have an hour, a couple of hours before we sleep, so we stop eating anything. If we drink water, that's fine, but stop eating. So this way we don't put too much pressure while we are sleeping on our GI system. So these are the, you know, the the meaning, the reason is from the medical point of view. The same thing is with interruption with all these electronic devices like TVs and phones and all of these things. Even they say don't keep those close to you because the frequency of high frequency of GMS, GSM, that can affect your brain activity. It can interrupt with your brain activity and cause you illusion that you think, oh, these are good, these are messages, which is not. That in reality, it's just interruption. Yeah. And this is why they say, keep the phone at least 30 centimeter away from your head, from your body, your head. Yeah, especially from the head, from the brain. Yeah. Yeah, so these are the reason, we tell our patient when we find out they don't have really a good quality of sleep. So we educate them so they know to get. And when they go back and do these things and they come back and give us feedback and say, oh my God, that's a huge difference. Now I sleep really deep, and when I wake up, I'm completely satisfied. Like I feel, rested after sleeping. I don't have headache. I sleep well. I dream good. And all of these things, they tell us as a feedback. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have more comments.
Go ahead, Daisy.
So to me, dream, I mentioned to Grace before, dream is a very fact approving we are a cosmic being. A very proof that we are beyond the 3D level. It's like our other dimension reality start bleeding through, and we see what we are truly doing. We're so much bigger.
Yes.
Like we have a glimpse of the consciousness of God.
Mm-hmm.
See and feel everything.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, one of my teachers talk about that we can even set up intention that when we are dreaming, when we are right before we go to sleep, we tell our higher consciousness, I want to dream in my higher body, like in my God body, in my higher conscious body, not on the trapped 3D body. Because we have so many different bodies. The human suit is so tight. But tell ourselves, I want my higher consciousness drop in. I want to dream through my higher dimensional body.
Yeah, that's correct. That's exactly correct. And then I know some recitation that you can do before you sleep, different recitation, different like chanting, or if you call it chanting, but for me, I just say recitation. That specifically, if you want to dream on, communicate to your grandpa or grandma, your ancestor, you do that before you dream. Of course, you have to remember, before I talked about, don't get so much interrupted before the dream, before the sleep, because that can cause you illusion. And that then it is not a real message. It's just illusion and interruption. But if you are aware and do the good hygiene, we call it sleep hygiene, and you recite those things and put your intention, and I want to communicate with my ancestor. And that night you will see a dream talking with your ancestor coming to you in a different way and talking to you and giving you messages and so on and so forth. Even if you want to communicate with some of the prophets or messengers, you know, that there's some specific recitation you can do. There's a specific ceremony you have to go through before you sleep. You prepare your soul. Because remember, as long as the soul connected to this body, it is not completely 100% pure compared to what is on the higher dimension. Because we do here in this life different things that can work as a pollution to the soul. So therefore, when we do a good sleep hygiene, plus we do those recitation and put our intention in a good way, in a very spiritual way in front, then we can get those communication we want. You see, but it's not easy. I tell you, you have to go through those, phases to make your soul ready. You can see that can happen in your dream as a reflection, as anything. You can see different type of illusion, but this is not the reality. But if you want to see the truth, reality, like really good, you can do. I did one time. Only happened to me two times. Yeah, 2 times. Only 2 times in the whole my life. When I communicated with messengers and prophets, but only 2 times. But again, that one that needs a lot of work, spiritually, a lot of work. Yeah.
Wow, I felt like I dream all the time. Like eating cheesecake. I want cheesecake. Manifest right now, and it will manifest.
Daisy, these are all reflection, because you crave cheesecake and you eat so much chocolate. Of course, your body and your soul says, okay, we give you all the picture you want. What do you want? You want cheesecake in your dream? We give you. That's fine.
And sometimes different crystals come into my dream and talk with me, and some of them taste really good too. Yeah.
Can you hear that? She also tastes the crystal.
In a dream, you taste anything. and you can dance with anything, and there's also music. I love when there's music show up in the dream too.
I know. I saw those, movies a lot.
Okay. This is another theory. I know you don't quite agree, but my understanding, why I got called to watch this movie, why I got called to watch, like earlier Grace mentioned about Raya and the Last Dragon, because there's some kind of a higher timeline is working on that kind of frequency, telling me watch that movie, watch that cartoon. You're doing similar missions in another dimension. You're supposed to learn certain skills, certain martial art move, so that you can do better in the other realm, the other dimension. I always learn all kind of skills that through watching movie and cartoon.
Yeah, that's good. It's not bad. It's not anything bad with that, because remember, our brain, part of our brain is, there's a section in our brain, part of our brain, that is specialty there. The cells, they produce a lot of scenario 24 hours while we are sleeping, while we are, awake. But that's their job. Those cells, they're their job. They make those scenarios. Remember, just imagine. Remember when somebody tells you a message, they tell you are gonna go and visit Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown working in IRS. Let's just give a scenario, you know, Mr. Brown working in RIS, and you are called to go there and defend all of your things that you have, you know, that you sent IRS for your tax refund. As soon as you know you're going to go there, your brain starts making all those scenarios. It shows you, it comes in front of you as a movie. You can see yourself. Oh, I am there. And I'm telling Mr. Brown this, and he said that, and I said this, and I will see this, and I will argue this in this way, and so on and so forth. You make all of those possibilities, all of those probability, you know, scenario in your brain before you meet Mr. Brown. That's the brain's job, part of the brain's job, to prepare you for different scenario. And this is what happened even when we sleep. You know, the brain makes this scenario, those movies, those things. So so this is why I'm saying, be aware. There is different between a message and a reflection. So because a reflection is your brain's activity. So what I'm talking to you now is it's a scientific based information. So that is a reflection of the brain's, you know, physiology and brain chemistry, what is happening in it. It makes those scenario, makes those, you know, probable, you know, scenario, as probable interaction, probable networking, and whatever. That's part of the brain, part of the brain's job. But the message is different. Messages come from higher order, from other places. That's your soul. When your soul leave the body and experience something in a higher dimension, higher order, in higher places in the universe, and come back again, that brings you the message, that brings you another type of experience. That will sit in you, in your heart, in your solar plexus, in your heart, so deep. When you wake up, you can feel the difference between this message and all of those things you have been seeing, you know, cheesecake and, you know, butterfly and dancing with crystal.
Can I give you a message?
As these are not bad. I'm not saying those are bad. These are good. These are keep you happy, keep your brain activated, give you some suggestion, you know, the brain, because working, give you different possibilities. Mm-hmm. And you get also some help from that, those dream, you know, scenario that you said. But it's different. It's different from the message that you get solely from the soul. You can feel it here in your heart, in your solar plexus. It sits so deep. So when you wake up, it feels so good, because that was your soul that that was communicating with higher order, higher dimension, and bring you that message. Yeah. Go ahead.
It seems like you've been building some foundation and structure, a place that you feel secure house, and it just not any house. It's a brick house. You build break by break, making it your own, your solid, and very spend years making that foundation happen. It's just my kind of feeling that it gonna manifest. Take deep breaths in, allow that to happen in your life. To have the integration of between the heavenly blessing and then the earthly nourishment. And a lot of time you feel you're doing it alone, and you have to do it your hard way, but it doesn't have to be hard. It felt like yeah, there's some unique way how you build it. Like it's almost like your exercise are part of your skills. Yeah, you're very rounded, you have all kind of knowledge on making it happen. But when you take a deep breath in, you can feel more support can come through and allow it to manifest more effortlessly. It doesn't have to be hard.
That's right. Yeah. So we are different, you know. Some people have easier way to get build up those connections with the higher order, you know. Whatever they do, they probably do, some people they do meditation and they do exercise, you know, breathing exercise or whatever they can clear up their mind and clear up and take all the stress from their head, their mind away. That will help to easy communicate with the higher order in the dream, or sometimes even in the when you are awake. Some people you see they are awake and they can get messages. So some other they saw them in the dream. So this we are different depending on which level or spiritual level we are and solely where we are, which dimension we can raise to, and therefore it makes difference between every individual with the other individuals. Yeah, that's right.
Would that be okay? You do an interpretation for my dream, of my last night dream?
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I think I remember very vividly. Yeah, I was talking with Grace. I mean, that's two part of the dream. I think the one part of kind of like prophetic dream was telling me what's gonna happen. There.
No, don't
Okay,
don't
okay,
make
okay.
interpretation.
No interpretation, but I
Just
just
tell
know.
me exactly what the dream about. What did you see? Who was in the dream? What did you saw? That's it.
Okay, I'm just saying that exactly what happened.
Yeah, exactly what happened. Don't interpret.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. I already dreamed what's gonna happen today with Grace, and that's one part of dream that I know it actually happened. All the conversation that I'm gonna have with Grace, but then
So what did you say? What did you that dream? It was exactly like we talked now.
it's not about detailed conversation. It's more like energy form. Okay, I just had that dialogue with Grace in my dream. It's already rehearsed, and so that's one dream. But then, okay, I should call it not a dream because they said almost like I already lived that life, but the dream is telling me, okay, this is what's gonna be happening tomorrow. And then the real dream I wanted to share with you is so I was kind of like in some kind of school setting. There's some kind of announcement board, like kind of like white, no, blackboard on the very top. I have two of my project was put it very top, kind of like painting, two beautiful piece of painting. I remember this one. I forgot the color. I just remember it's very vivid. And then this side, it has a little bit more, but I don't know what kind of like pale color, but very pretty. Both kind of some kind of flower design. And then somehow, I don't know, they did some kind of painting or something, and then the color start kind of become a little bit foggy. And then I was using my saliva, kind of like take off the fogginess, especially on the right side of the painting. And it's a very big painting. And then I also remember that one of my classmates, high school classmate, he was in charge of the board announcement. It seems like some kind of big events, but I'm the one started, and people gonna be continuously submitting their project to the board. And then I think they were discussing about the event, something about paying $2 for something. I don't really know the detail. Either people subscribe the membership or submitting their works. But I just remember the feeling of the two painting I put on the very top of the board. It was related to some kind of martial artist books I read before. And very much like that feeling, even though it's just regular painting, but there's some kind of so much channeled martial artist and a chivalry of them. I don't know, you can imagine all those martial artists, imagine that you are the one that running the storyline and doing all kind of cool movement, but it's all depicted in that two paintings. I was, yeah, basically that's the dream. You have anything you want to say?
Yeah. So those two painting you had on the right and left on the top, that's represent the two project you are running now that are your favorite. Two of them are your favorite. And I'm sure that you know those two. I don't want to ask you, you don't need to tell me, but just think about them. For sure, you know, two of them are your favorite. So that's symbol of those two projects. But the problem is that you need to have like kind of, so when you use your saliva to take those, you said that the painting's color become
pale.
Yeah,
it's mainly on
you
the
try
right.
you try to use your saliva to fix it.
Yeah, to make it more.
Yes.
More.
Yeah. So that means, you know, that there are some concern you are working on. There's some concern you're working on related to those two favorite projects you try to fix it with your saliva, you know, but of course you cannot fix it with your saliva in real life.
I was working really hard. I felt like the whole painting I did with my saliva. I just
yeah, but the reason that you can in the dream you can see you're fixing with your saliva, because saliva it's a very important part of the body's manifestation in many ways. So the saliva is very important for digestion. You know that the first stage of digestion is saliva. When we chew food, the saliva is the first step that start digest our food. Saliva also is a part of that we can test for different type of biomarker for medicine, like cortisol, that we can test the level of cortisol in the body through the saliva, and see in cases where there are too much or too low, and so on and so forth. So, and this is why in the dream you can see you are using saliva, because saliva is something really strong and a good, powerful media that you use in a dream. So this is why you get that symbol. So you are working on those two, concern that you have. The concern you have, it's symbolized by the pale color. Because you had imagined the color should be beautiful and very strong, but suddenly you saw that pale and you try to fix it. So these are the message of your dream. Part of that is just reflection of the reality that you're living in, but part of that also is a message to say you need to think more deep about it and find a way to fix it. And then the saliva is a symbol of that you're going to fix it. That tells you that you're going to fix it. And the color will be as you want. You will fix the color back again and makes everything fine. That means that you're going to fix if something bother you in your project, that you will fix it and everything will be back normal again. So that's the message.
What about the martial artist move? Or that has nothing to do with martial artists?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't have anything to do with the martial art. It's just martial art is your knowledge, your background as a Chinese person, So it will project as martial art, but it not necessarily is about martial art. It's about your knowledge as a Chinese person, the way you were brought out, the way you were educated, the knowledge you already had before you came to United States. So that is always with you, So those knowledge that always can help you to fix and fix any kind of problem that comes up. It's that can be really helpful. Good tools. So the martial arts symbol is just tells you those knowledge that you had in advance. It was part of your work in those projects. It's not about martial art.
Got it. Oh, let me also greeting Victoria. Hi, Victoria. Yeah, she's in Bali.
Hi, Victoria.
Sorry, I just popped up in the middle just because I saw that you're live and I thought that I would pop up to say hi. I'm not necessarily need to be involved. I just wanted to say hi and to greet all of you and say that how much I love you.
Hi, you're welcome.
Let me ask one more question, and then Victoria, if you have any dream, you can think about your dream, and Dr. Yusuf can help interpret the dream too. I just have one more question related to the last night dream. What about while in that dream, it seems like people who are helping out with the events, and there kind of like some discussion about $2. Was that is there any significant? I just remember I don't really care what they're discussing about.
No, that part of the part of the future that you're seeing in whatever activity you're doing, because those people that you maybe in the dream they are not clear who they are, but it means that those people who are either interacting with you and helping you for those projects you have, or or they are interested in, you know, contributing to whatever you're doing. So these are the symbol of those people. And then if there's any monetary discussion has been in that dream, that's part of reality, you know, because everything it needs maintenance, and it means cost, and it needs money. It doesn't need to be too much, a lot, or you become rich off, but you need those money to keep everything, you know, maintained,
yeah,
working.
that would make sense. I think they're discussing, and whoever submit their paper, it's almost like imagine kind of like a newspaper, but it's on the very obvious form. Everybody can see it on the blackboard, and whoever want to submit to be included, and they pay like $2, something like that.
Yeah, you know, like, you know, when you tell about people, you know, you can donate something, or it's not you're asking them for money. You're just asking if they want to, you know, help and participate in helping and maintaining this project or this platform. So I'm not talking about specific project, but this is what it means in the dream, you know, whatever project you have in your mind.
And I remember the color of the painting on the left has more of purplish, kind of like lilac, like a what do you call it, lavender kind of like color. Pretty. I mean, they're both pretty.
Yeah, the lavender, the color of lavender, it's a high frequency. You know, the color of lavender, the purple color, or it has high frequency. In if you want to measure it, it's in the scale that belong to the high frequency.
Yeah, it's smaller than the right side, and the right side is the one that I spend most effort using my saliva to fix.
What color that had?
That one has a more like a beige kind of color. Like the color itself is not vibrant itself, and that's why when it got kind of like dialed down, like got dull color, and I trying to fix it, make it a little bit more.
Yeah, so I would say whatever, because you're working on two different projects. One of them is good. It has a really high frequency and a very good future. The second one, it's just something that causes you a lot of work, a lot of energy, but it's not the same level of the first one, the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So probably this is why you're trying to fix that one, to fix that color, to make those both. But you have to think about it, and maybe just drop one and then focus on one and be more successful. And that one, because that's also, it shows you that's a really high frequency and very successful. And it has much open connection to higher frequencies. So it makes sense.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel satisfied. Okay. Victoria, do you want to ask anything about your dream?
Not in particular ask about the dream, but I would like to share my experience about like conscious dreaming, and if it's welcomed, I mean, it's okay.
Yeah, sure.
A while ago, I think maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, a friend of mine, can you enable for me to share the screen, please? I want to show you something.
Yes, absolutely. Let me make you co-host.
a friend of mine who does the plasma water, like nanoplasma water technology, he creates different kinds of plasma water for helping people with different kind of problems. And his website is not really like properly developed, but I would like to show you and to tell you about the experience which I had. So yeah, it's in Russian, but like this is the one which he created. It is based on what is that? Kalea zakacheti, which is the flower to it's like a plant. This is the English name. This is the plant for helping have conscious dreams. It's like comes from the in Indians and also like Native Americans, I would say Central American language. And this is a very interesting experience which I had. So basically, this is like you have a drop, like a few drops of this dream catcher or whatever, and then you start having more conscious dreams. And the thing it does is actually cleans your, like a parasite, like helps you with a parasite cleanse. And instead of like some parasite entity is having a work or like something within your dream, you set up an intention for your dream and have your conscious experience. So basically, how it worked for me while I was using that, and I still do that, but the experience is different with the plant. So it's kind of like helps you achieve, well, I can say better results. So you just set up an intention and do the work in your sleep. So you kind of like visit people, do something, or like show something, or like if you have questions like about, I don't know, divine purpose, divine whatever it is, you have the answers, and the answers are quite accurate and precise. And the way the plant helps you is that it's actually helps you to remember more. So you have this experience when you like, I still have this, like I always had this connection with the dreams, because I'm shown a lot of stuff in the dream, and I do a lot of work in the dream realm, but also it's like a cleanse which I was experiencing for like a month or so, and it helped like to clear up the vision, to avoid the distortion. So it was an interesting experience. I don't know if you can like do it like all the time. Probably you should have the breaks and stuff. So which is what I'm doing at this moment. But I just wanted to share that this was a very interesting experience for me, and I really like found wisdom in this process. So that's it. But every day I set up an intention, like, okay, I want to see this, okay, I want to do this, okay, this is what I want to experience. But the accuracy is not always precise.
Yeah, I can, unfortunately, I cannot say anything about that plan, and unless I need to study it and see what is this, what's the component of that. It is safe, it's not safe, and what has to do with dream or not. And before I'm studying those things, I cannot see anything. Yeah, because I don't believe that I don't believe anything that can prepare you, like, you know, to get a specific answer like that. From plant or some that can, maybe some plant can make you more relaxed, so you can have better sleeping quality of sleep, and make you go to the deep sleep phase, because this is these are not changeable. So these are has been researched for many years, and measured both scientifically, and we know that the only dream that we can remember, and it has meaningful messages, is when you go into deep sleep stage. Yeah. Mm. And so if that plant help you to have in safe way, I don't know yet which is safe or not, because I cannot say anything. But if the way that can make you relax and go in a deep sleep before you sleep, that could be just helping, but it's not the cause that you get a message.
Yeah.
And then if it's not, it doesn't do that, but maybe cause you more illusion, because some plant can cause illusion, and it cause you to have more illusion, which is not real message. It looks maybe good, it looks maybe satisfied, because it's always illusion is something we like. So when we like something and we want that happen to us, then when we get the illusion that is related to that, we are satisfied. We say, oh, that's good. But this is not always that true.
Yeah.
So I will be careful, first of all, to make sure that this type of plasma or whatever he is doing, it's safe or not, and then what is the effect that on the body from the neurological point of view, and then I can see anything about that. But now I cannot see if it's good or not, safe or not safe. I will not.
Yeah, exactly what you mentioned is about the REM. I track the sleep, and it's very interesting to I didn't know, I think that the plant is doing that, extending the REM amount, because sometimes I sleep with the watch and it measures the phases, and it shows you, okay, here you had the deep sleep, here you had that. But are there any natural ways, without using anything, like any plants or anything, to extend that REM amount in your sleep? Because this seems to be a very important process for us to integrate the experience, integrate the codes we received, integrate everything. So it's is there anything that we as humans can actually do tangibly for us to extend that amount?
Yes, exactly. We use that. We use this kind of education always to our patient. When we find out that sometimes you find out that a kind of disorder or disease is related somehow to the person's not getting sleep enough, not getting a good quality of sleep, not going in a REM or REM phase, or the deep sleep phase. And then we educate them. We say what should be the environment before you sleep, in the room you are sleeping. The temperature. All of this has an effect. If you sleep in a room that is hot, is too hot or too humid, it's not good. It doesn't let you go to the REM space, phase. So the temperatures should be very comfortable, not too hot and not too cold. And also, before you go to sleep, you need to have really at least 1 to 2 hours distance between when you eat and when you go to sleep. So you have to have at least between 1 to 2 hours. You should not sleep immediately you should not eat and immediately go to sleep. That is for sure. It doesn't let you go to REM phase of sleep. Because it has it puts so much pressure on your body, on your GI system while you sleep. So instead of the body and your brain replenishing and doing their job to repair, they get involved with digestion, which should be done before you go to sleep. So this is why we also recommend that. And all of these things I'm telling you, these are things that scientifically has been measured has been studied, and so many studies you can find that support those hypotheses. And then in this modern day, we tend to have our electronic devices, phones and TV and whatever, especially phone now, so much close to us, and immediately before we sleep, we check our email and we check our this and that. And it's okay if you just take your phone and set your alarm or something like that, turn it off, put it aside. That's fine. That's okay. But searching, different places, sending message, giving message, all the interaction with electronic device before you sleep, watching movies immediately before you sleep. This kind of interaction with the electronic device, it also interrupt the good quality of, we call it sleep hygiene. It interrupt also the sleep hygiene. And the best way you can do is avoiding those stuff, very close to at your sleep time. Keep your phone away from your head when you're sleeping, from your pillow, at least 30 centimeter distance. And the 30 centimeter, I personally measure that it gives, if it's closer, it will gives interruption to your brain waves activity. And then it will interrupt also the sleeping phase. And then for sure, it doesn't let you go in the REM. And if you go to REM, as soon as you go close to it sometimes, and then you jump up again. And that is the one when I don't know if you sometimes experience when you wake up, you can feel that you have been always started a dream that you want to see what happened and then whoop, disappeared. For sure, many of you experience that. That is the one I'm mentioning now. Because of the interruption, it doesn't, even when you go close to that, it jump off and then poop, there's no good message there, And then you stay in that other stage where you get messages, well, not messages, but the reflection. Mostly reflection of your everyday's, what you are doing, what you have been doing last week, and just reflection. It's not a message, it's reflection. Because the brain, 24 hours processing different scenarios and processing different scenario, both to try to solve a problem network-wise or try to make sense of something. And therefore, that you get all these reflections. So I would say the best way you can do it, have a good temperature in your room before you sleep. Don't have connection to those devices before you sleep. Keep your phone away, and then do some meditation. Just take even 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You don't need to do very complicated meditation program or something like that. Just few minutes. Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. Do some short meditation. It could be religious. It could be any other spiritual chanting. It could be just quiet. That's also meditation. Just quiet, nothing. No interruption, nothing. As in clearing your mind. Don't think about anything. Just clear your mind and say, I'm going to think in vacuum. In 3 minutes, just in vacuum. I'm not going to think about anything. That's also one way that you can do meditation. So there's different way you can go do meditation. And then in this way, you prepare yourself environment wise. by taking care of all those things we talk about, and also spiritual wise, you taking care of your spirit to say, okay, it's like talking to your spirit to say, I know I kept you in my body the whole day today, and I was so busy, I was so stressed, I was so, I was so angry about that guy that drives so crazy. I was so angry about my friend. She said something that I didn't like. I'm just giving some things, examples. And the souls, you just tell the souls, I want you to please forgive me, Now it's your time. I want you to relax and help me, give me message, go and bring me message. And just make your soul ready, because the soul will leave your body when you sleep, and only will leave your body when you sleep when you are in the REM. It doesn't do on other stages at all, only in the REM phase. And it takes only few seconds. You think that it just goes hours and hours when you dream, when you experience a dream. You can feel it that it goes maybe in hours and half a day or whatever, but it is not. It's just few seconds. Just few seconds. So it just give your soul few seconds freedom of all of this pollution we have in our everyday life. And then I will guarantee you will get the most beautiful messages. You will be amazed. You will be amazed. Those messages in those stages, when it comes to you, it comes so vivid and so real that it stay with you the rest of your life. You will never forget them. Every time you think about them, you just feel the joy. And this is what we have to do. We have to give our souls a little bit time and freedom, and yeah. You're welcome.
Oh, I also want to read Victoria's comment just in case you didn't see it. You said,
No, I didn't see it. Yeah.
she said, I keep my phone off on a different floor of the house. It's been my habit for the last few years. So important.
Very good. Very good, Victoria. Yeah.
I also want to make comments when Victoria was sharing the website of that plant's elixir. I can instantly feel sudden alignment. Like I don't know how to explain. I felt like it could be your higher self, could be your internal life, or whatever you're doing, feel this alignment, and so much like my whole body just feel the shiver, like instant cleansing. And as you're talking about like whatever, it's almost like whatever you want to manifest, you can manifest very easily with that one single intention.
Yeah.
And it's actually the whole topic about the magic of the dream, because whether we're awakened or sleeping, it's all about how we manifest.
But Daisy, I don't recommend on this channel you have, which is a public channel, I don't recommend you recommend and say this is good, I feel open, I feel this and that. Please don't do that. Let people no. Let people do their study, and let them come to their way to find out if it is good, if it's safe. If you say something here and somebody take it and something happened, they will say, oh, Daisy said that she got a message that it's open up and blah, blah, blah. And this is why I took it. Now I cannot see, I am blind. Or sorry to say that, but I'm not saying bad about that product at all.
I didn't
But
realize.
what I'm saying, in this public public channel, based on my experience, never ever recommend something that is not scientifically studied by people, by scientists or something like that. Because in this way, if you can find paper about that, somebody did scientific research, you can refer. You can say, I think that is good because I read this study, and that study, that scientists that work on it, and they had really good result that showed that is safe, that is good. And this is why I'm saying, this is why I'm saying good. So in this way, you have a reference. But now just I'm saying, I got a downloading and then telling me it is good.
Oh,
don't do that.
You miss my point. My point is everything guide us to choose anything, whether I choose to open this topic today that we're speaking, or whether I choose to watch a cartoon yesterday, or whether I choose to eat this chocolate box. There's an invisible hand behind me and pointing me, nudging me to make that decision, to make that choice, and that choice lead me to an embodied experience and sensation. That's what I'm tapping into. I'm tapping into that sensation around.
Okay. So just don't talk about specific product. Okay, please.
Okay. No, nothing specific. I'm just feeling this inner alignment suddenly. The sensation as Victoria talking, I just instantly feel cleansed.
Yeah. As I mentioned, before, you can have chanting before you sleep. If you feel you can clear up your mind with it, that will prepare you. If you take a cup of tea, relaxing, like chamomile tea or whatever, flower tea that it's safe, it's good, it relaxes you, that's a good thing. And so anything can be, and even this product that Victoria was mentioning, that could be also one of those. But the reason I'm just not saying anything, recommending anything, because this is a public channel and we don't want to talk about a specific product we don't know. I don't know. I didn't study it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's safe or not. And even if it's safe, I don't know how long you can take it. Because sometimes it's safe, but you cannot take it forever. You need to take it maybe for only a few days or a week and then stop. Mm-hmm. So that there's some of those plants, even though they are safe, it doesn't mean we can take them every day, every time, every second, it's not like that. We need to have a balance. We need to know what is the dose, how long we can take it, blah, blah, blah. So this is why.
Understand, doctor. We can I honor the scientific aspect, but at the same time
there is something else, right?
and I also honor the inner knowing, which is our higher self, who guide us to take a specific steps.
That's fine, but just let the inner owning and every person guide them. You don't guide them. Just let them guide their own inner whatever, guide them to do, and then they are their responsibility. But now if I say I got a download here and I feel this, and for sure this is good, that's only for me, not for everybody else. And I don't want to say it here for everybody else to follow. So this is my point. I'm not saying what you said is wrong, but I'm saying can be misunderstood.
We love you so much.
Yeah.
So thank you for being very considerate. We're feeling very good, taken care of.
Yeah. Because it has been experienced like that before, in those channels, and then people that something is good for me, maybe it's not good for somebody else. If I recommend here and there's somebody take it and they get reaction or something like that, then they will say, oh, they said in this channel and that was good and that was safe, and it shows up it was not. And that's not a good there's not a good feedback for us. And that's my concern.
We hear your point. Yeah. I love the way you mentioned about the illusion in the dream. Also, it's a very important concept. We forget often about it, which is like we love the illusion and we enjoy the process. I love that. Thank you so much for mentioning it.
Yeah, that's also important part of our brain activity, because the illusion that even when we are awake, the brain, we have illusion too. It's not only when we sleep, but because that's part of our brain that 24 hours work on a different scenario and different solutions and different answers and so on and so forth. So this is why we are so abrupt ready. So if I ask you a question now and you suddenly after a second you answer me, you think that just it's somewhere in your brain sitting there and waiting for you. It's not like that. The brain is already worked on those scenarios, and you have different options. The only thing you do is just like multiple choice. You have different multiple choice in your brain prepared for you. And as soon as I ask you the question, you answer me, you give me the answer because you already have the answer. So this is part of the illusion that the brain give us and work on it. So it's part of that. But the most important is that we need to be aware of and differentiate between what is illusion, what is real, what is message, what is reflection, and so this is the art that we appreciate to learn, because it helps us to understand the dream and also understand how we can get in a good quality of dream and enjoy it and get our messages and so on and so forth. Yeah. I was mentioning before, there are some religions practice, they have some kind of recitation, religious recitation, specifically for different type of intention to meet in the dream before they sleep. They read them and then they sleep and then they get the message they want. For example, they say, if you do this recitation, you can meet your ancestor in your dream, and they can talk to you, they can give you a message or something. If you read another one, they can give you knowledge about whatever you are seeking. Maybe you have something you want to solve and you're looking for the answer, but you didn't find it yet, but you want to have some kind of hint from the higher order that help you. And this is what also many scientists and researchers and artists, and they got their messages and their answers through the dreaming. Daisy were mentioning that before in the beginning of this session. And this is how it happened. So, and that can happen through either reciting something or doing some meditation or just clearing up your mind and your, from just in silent. It could be a different way you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like, oh, go ahead, Victoria.
No.
Yeah, I like what Dr. Yusuf mentioned earlier, like there's certain recitation and sometimes certain ritual and certain ceremony to conduct, and just so we can have a dream that closer to our higher consciousness, closer to the guidance of the higher
self. And I'm sure that in any culture, they have their own way to get those preparation, that match their culture before they sleep. I'm sure that they have. I'm not aware about those, but I'm sure that every culture they have those things.
Mhm. Yeah, kind of like some kind of dream divination ritual. But
Yeah,
yeah, right.
because what I was mentioning before to Victoria, because you just remember when you sleep, your soul, when you go in deep sleep, and that is the stage you want to get message. If you want to go there, then you need to let your soul goes in a way that it's rested, and it's, and this is what you do the meditation, you do all of these things in good hygiene, sleeps and everything before you go to sleep, to prepare your soul, and then your soul can go farther more, and give you, come back with messages and whatever, and and cherry chocolate and whatever you said before, Daisy.
Yeah, all kind of energetic energy food.
Yeah, energy food, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that how like our understanding of multidimensional astral travel and bridging together with your understanding of scientific research. How, yeah.
Yeah, because I have had a lot of patients, come in talking to me, and one of those things that they say, I dream this, I dream that, and in different situation, there are different scenario, different situation. It shows that either when they have really rested and they have good resting and good hygiene before they go to bed, they give the messages, they give their dream, they give really good messages, very, very meaningful, good messages. And in other situation, they tell you about their dream and it shows that it's a reflection, or it's because it's too much um, um, very, very disturbed, either by environment or by any other issues that they are not finishing before they go to sleep. One of the things I forgot to say is they say they recommend those scientists that specifically work on sleep and dream. They said before you sleep, even before you sleep, don't try to solve your problem at that moment before you sleep, because we try to, when we put our head on the pillow, we try to think about, oh, okay, I was doing this and then something happened. I don't know how to solve that, and don't try that, because that will also give a kind of interruption. When you put your head on the pillow, just say, okay, now I'm done with the day activity. I just want to get rest. I don't want any thing that disturb my mind, and I don't want anything that disturb my soul. And I just want to rest in vacuum. Rest in vacuum. I will interpret like that, because in like in vacuum, you don't have any activity going on, any sounds you can hear, anything. It's just quiet. Um, yeah, maybe vacuum is not a good way to say it, but it's just like when you go into some rooms that it isolated from sound. Have you experienced those kind of rooms? There are rooms we use for research, and that is specifically designed. So we design those rooms specifically to prevent any frequencies come out of from outside inside. So inside there is zero frequency, zero from outside. No frequency is allowed to come in. So there are some kind of grid and the different kind of material, they build up those rooms that prevent those things come in. And then we can do research separately from interruption from outside. So I would say, like, imagine that. Imagine you are in that room and you don't want anything else interrupt you. Put your head down and just do recitation or do your meditation or do whatever in your mind and just relax. And when you sleep, you go in deep sleep and you enjoy your sleep. Next day when you wake up, you are you feel rested and your body is replenished and you get your beautiful dreams with good answers and good messages and yeah. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Yusuf.
Okay, you're welcome. So if nobody else has any dreams, so maybe you can close the session.
Yeah, let's send a deep gratitude for all the higher guidance that
Mhm.
come to our life through daytime, nighttime, through places seen or unseen. All the kindred spirit in our life path, whether it's visible or invisible. In all the kingdom, the realm of southern light, heaven, earth, and the human realm, elementals, animals, minerals, crystals, all of our allies who come to our life and on earth to help us anchoring our light, our mission on earth. We say thank you so much, sending you all infinite gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daisy, for this, for hosting this, session and your enthusiastic and your good intention, positive intention. Very, very good. It helped to keep those sessions going on.
Thank you.
Thank
Sending
you.
all so much love and light. Bye.
Thank you. See you next week.
See you. Bye.